Okay, guys, I want to welcome everybody. I've got to now share it. I've got to do a couple things on my side to make sure that everybody gets to see this. But guys, I'm so excited about our guest and our conversation tonight. We are going to talk about the National. And my guest is Erik Myers with PWCC. Erik, I want to welcome you. I know that our time differences are many hours away with you being in South Korea. So thank you for spending some time with us tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
It's my pleasure. We're going to learn from Erik's experience. He is a veteran of attending the National. This is the week of the National. And Erik coming to the National this week, he would have had to have left yesterday in order to get there tomorrow for something. I don't know how that works. But Erik, before we get into the National, please share, for folks who don't know you, please share a little bit about PWCC and what you do for them, and then maybe a little bit about your experience at attending the National in years past.
Yeah, I currently work for PWCC Auction House. We have our own website, but we're predominantly the major auction house in the sports card, as well as also non-sports, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, on eBay. We're eBay's largest power seller. We do about anywhere between 39 and 41,000 individual sales a month. So we move a lot of volume in regards to individual items as well as monetary value. We're their #1 seller on eBay. I've been there for about less than a year. I love it. Absolutely love having the opportunity to talk cards or collectibles in the industry. And for the Nationals, I've been there multiple times. Every time is its own blessing. It is.
What are you expecting at the National by way of crowds? Because we didn't have one last year. And to me, my uneducated and unexperienced self, just looking at social media, there's going to be enormous crowds the way that I see it. But maybe you see it differently. Tell me what you think.
No. I mean, absolute chaos. Hour, 2-hour waits getting in, just complete and total chaos, but hopefully controlled chaos, right? Respectable chaos to a certain degree is best. It's not like a concert at night where everybody's belligerent walking in, right? So thankfully that's not the case. I hope that there's a lot of mutual respect for people and that the hobby is first and foremost on everybody's mind. That needs to be, it's the health and well-being of the hobby, not each individual person's perspective on what they want, but that we can show that our hobby can grow at the magnitude in which it has grown in the past 24 months. I think that's most important.
Well, guys, if you're just joining in with us, I've got Erik Myers with PWCC. Erik is a veteran of attending the National, and that's where I kind of want to steer our conversation. And if you guys have questions or comments out there, I can field them for Erik and share them with him. Erik, let's talk a little bit about if I'm a first time, which I will be, a first time attendee of the National. And as you and I were talking about before we went live, the way I'm envisioning Wednesday night when I show up to the front doors, it's going to be very overwhelming. It's going to be so much to absorb. But how would a first time attendee be able to enjoy their experience over the next several days being there?
I think preparation is key, right? So let's spend just a minute talking about before walking in the door, right? I recommend that you get some snacks, whether it be beef jerky or something to that effect too. You can have nutrition, maybe some granola bars, stuff to that effect, a water bottle, right? So you want like some type of, even a micro backpack, something to that effect as well. You need at least one battery for your cell phone or whatever electronic device you're bringing. You need to bring a backup battery for that. You don't want to get there and be in there and 25% of the way through your day and realize your battery's phone's dead, you're hungry, you need some water. Now, they're going to sell some stuff there, but again, to eat and drink, the line's going to be long, right? So be prepared. Your preparation is paramount for your enjoyment, the continuation of your enjoyment. So have some snacks, maybe just, and you don't need a lot of water, right? You don't have to bring a gallon, just, one water bottle, a small 16 ounce, something of that. And you need a battery for your phone and obviously, a cable with it. Also that I find is important that I utilize the most is I bring a couple pens And I get these little micro tablets that just easily fit right in my back pocket. It's just little paper pads, right? I literally was yesterday at what they would call like their Walmart here in South Korea. They're 79 cents, maybe $1.10. These little, paper tablets, and have one or two of those in your back pocket, or just carry one with you. That way you can write down table numbers. If you see whatever it is you collect, this card at this table number, this person's name and number, because your phone battery and utilization, it'll burn up really fast so I use it as little as possible. If I want to take videos or something, to take a podcast or something, use it just for that. Other than that, pulling out your names, numbers, highlights and stuff, I'm not always having my phone open, because I'll set it down or the battery runs down. So preparation is key. That really makes your experience, once you're in the door, most enjoyable. And if your first time, those little bits of nuggets of information are really going to be profound. You'll be so grateful that that you have that stuff.
I've largely heard that if you can't find it, or if you don't see it at the National, it likely doesn't exist in the collectibles world. Have you found that it's just unique stuff and just things you probably never even thought existed shows up and is for either display or for sale?
Yeah. I find for myself, day one, do what you want. If you just want to go wherever, do whatever, stick to one section, do the whole section. You just want to run around, talk to one person. Day one, do whatever you want to do. Kind of let yourself enjoy. It's like going to IKEA for the first time. You just kind of let all the sensory out, right? We've all been there. You're just like, what is going on? Why is there so many colors? I don't know what to do. That's kind of like it is, right? It's like going to IKEA for the first time. Let all that stuff hit your sensory, right? Day two and on, be organized, be methodical. Look for things, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask a question. If you're in a non-sports, let's say you're into F1, you might see one or two F1 cars on the guy's table. Hey, do you know anybody here that might be into F1, that might be into that kind of genre, or whatever it is? Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Marvel, whatever it may be. Ask those questions, pull out the tablet, write down the table. Oh, you're into F1, or you're into Magic. Guy over here in table 527, or whatever table it may be, is into that. Write that stuff down. That way you have a game plan. So day 2 and 3. For me personally, when I go to the Nationals, I spend about half my time looking at old stuff that you don't get to see, that look different in person than they do in real life. When I first went to my first national years ago, I saw it was a Babe Ruth 1927 World Series ring. Yeah, that doesn't show up every day, right? Yeah.
Right.
One of them, there was a Babe Ruth, his rookie contract. I think there'll be Mickey Mantle's rookie contract will be on display. I love vintage jerseys, vintage bats, things that are iconic. And it doesn't matter your sport, whatever it may be, baseball, football, basketball. There's always vintage stuff in that area. And enjoy that, because it looks totally different in real life than it does on your laptop screen.
I'm looking for, I want to see a Wagner in person. I've never seen one of those. I want to see a Mantle rookie. I've never seen one of those in real life. So that's awesome advice. Let me ask you, I bought the VIP pass, which I think gets you into the convention a little bit earlier, but many people have also bought that same pass. So I suspect there's already going to be lines as soon as you show up to go. If I want to get cards graded, do I need to go at that point in time to just get in line? Or I guess what I'm looking for from a VIP standpoint, I know it gets you a little bit earlier in, but if I truly have some cards I want to get graded, when would I do that during the week?
Yeah. So the most valuable thing that you'll find here are your minutes. It's not your dollar. It's not your collection. The most valuable thing you'll have at this whole show is your minutes. Where do you put what minutes? That's really the question. And to answer your question directly, yeah, that's where those minutes are going to be. That extra 30 minutes you get in early, you're going to be standing in line for PSA or Beckett or SGC or whoever your grading company is. And right. I support all of them, right? That's where those minutes are going to be. Is it unfortunate? Yes. Is it the right decision? Also, yes. There are sacrifices to be made in the National. There are. And unfortunately, the sacrifice is it's your minutes.
Yeah.
That's the example.
You can only have so much energy in a day. There's only so many hours you can spend there before you have to go sleep for a little bit. Erik, what about from a standpoint? What if I see a card? Let's say I get there on Wednesday and I really like this one card that I'm looking for. What are your thoughts about Wednesday and Thursday and Friday before the weekend about the ability to negotiate? Do you find the most dealers? And I realize this may depend on the dollar amount we're talking about. I get that. But what are your thoughts about the earlier part of the week versus the later part of the week from negotiations on cards?
This is where the writing pad and the pencil comes into play, right? Write the card, the guy's contact number. Maybe you can call him or text him later that night. You want to meet up with him? Odds are he's going to be busy, but just in case. The card, the table number. But just know, when you walk away from that table, odds are it's going to be gone by tomorrow. That's just the truth. You need to be able to digest that. But learning that is an important, it's paramount. Learning that part of the psychological process, or processes, if you will, of this industry and hobby is important for you to learn as an adult and as you mature into the collecting hobby, right? That it's okay to walk away from one item, because more than likely there's going to be 100 down the line for the years to come, right? So don't beat yourself up over it. It's okay. You didn't know about it 5 minutes ago, and in 10 minutes you might see something
But now
else.
I have to have it, Erik. I saw it and I have to have it.
That's the truth. And that's the truth. But it's important that you're able to digest those things, right? And to let the process go in with your head, like, man, let the regret set in, and then let the acceptability also set in after that. You know what? There's going to be other grails. Trust me, I've been there. I have been there. Yeah. They're probably not going to negotiate much on Wednesday and Thursday. They're just not, because the dealers know Friday and Saturday. Saturday, it's going to be banging. Friday and Saturday, it's going to be packed. If you like it, probably the guy that walked to the table before you liked it, and the guy's going to walk up to the table after you is also going to like it. Yeah. So now, unless it's some obscure thing, but even then, if it's of any notable importance, then others are going to see that importance too.
You know, if it's not a one of one, if it's not truly a limited issue of a particular card, if it's just like over my shoulder, 75 Dave Winfield, and it's a PSA 6, there's probably many of those. And I guess the one thing that I started doing this weekend was I've got a list of cards that I'm really kind of looking for. And this is going to lead me to the next part of where I want to go. And I have a range of what I want to spend, just looking at comps and just knowing my budget. But I suspect it's kind of like going to Vegas. If you're not very disciplined and you don't stick to your plan, things could go badly in a hurry because of FOMO, the fear of missing out. I got to have that card and that card and that card. So that leads me to this question. I know you're a huge Kobe collector. I know you really focus on very specifics. I've seen you in other podcasts and in videos. Here's my question. As we discussed earlier, I'm a Thurman Munson. That's my guy. I really want to go looking for that Thurman Munson X card that I don't have. How do you focus on, how do you get rid of all the other stuff that's out there to find my Thurman Munson collection, your Kobe collection, or whatever it may be? How do you focus in such a big, huge environment?
Well, Thurman Munson is going to be a little bit different than Kobe, right? Vintage versus modern.
Sure.
But if that's what you're there for, if that's your niche, right? That's your player, Thurman Munson, that's your guy. Mm-hmm. You want to gravitate towards vintage. Odds are he's not going to be on a table with a bunch of ultra modern basketball. That's, so know where you're going, if you can, try to figure out where the vintage cards are, and those people will kind of help you gravitate towards what it is you're looking for. Section it off, segregate it. Okay, I'm looking for vintage this. All right, so if I don't see vintage on the guy's table, walk past them. Just go right to the vintage areas. And the cool thing is, a lot of these people, for the most part, have been doing this together. So you'll notice that a lot of the memorabilia stuff is kind of in one kind of area. A lot of the vintage guys are kind of in one area. So to a certain degree, right? So go to that area, find that area, ask people, hey, do you know where the vintage stuff is? Do you know where it might be? Just kind of ask some questions, because it's going to cut minutes out of your day of having to walk around, and those minutes add up at the end of the day. And if you're looking for players like Thurman Munson, Mel Ott, Frank Robinson, Ernie Banks, these players who are still top tier talent, but aren't recognized in today's hobby as top tier talent. To me, they are, right? To me, they are. But to the younger generation, they just don't even know those people are, could honestly care less. You're kind of it helps, it behooves you. It does. Because they're going to sit on those tables a little longer, which it's not Luka Doncic RPAs or his Prism Golds or, his Mojo stuff, right? So that definitely helps you. And also, like you said, it's okay. There's probably going to be more of those around, especially players like Thurman Munson, and really let your mind open up. If Thurman Munson's your guy, go look and see if you can find game used gloves or jerseys or bats from Thurman Munson. Don't just be stuck in this card. I didn't know. There was a time in my life I didn't know what I didn't know. But you don't really know what's on the box when you're stuck inside the box. You got to be willing to go outside and look in. If you're into that player, maybe there's other stuff for that player. Maybe there's a picture of Thurman Munson standing next to another, like an 8x10. I call them flats, right? You might look for the autographed flats. There's going to be people that sell just hundreds of flats. And you walk up, hey, do you have any autographed flats of Thurman Munson? And you might see Thurman Munson, another iconic player. And that thing might be like $160 versus some of the cards you're looking at 400 or 500. So where you thought you had this much money set aside for this card, you're thinking to yourself, well, I can still get a decent card, but I can get this really cool autograph, PSA authenticated GSA picture of Thurman Munson with another person who I also love. So let yourself open up your mind and your perspective of really what it is your heart might want.
Very, very cool. Guys, I'm talking with Erik Myers, a veteran of the National. He's with PWCC and really sharing some great insider experience and some tips. Erik, what's your favorite part of the week at the National? What do you enjoy the most?
Yeah, the old stuff, man. The gaming stuff. Maybe the players' contracts, these vintage World Series rings or NBA championship rings, how different they look than today's rings. Just the origins of how the roots of the hobbies that I love, these sports that I love, where they came from. Because the way that I'm able to connect with them is on a deeper level when you see them in person, like the game used jerseys, those game used bats, the contracts. Even when I look at vintage baseballs or even modern, when you look at Hank Aaron's autograph now to where it was in the 90s, you see the Father Time taking his toll on, right? Yeah. I really allow myself to open up and experience. I think when I go to the National is what rekindles my love for the hobby that I'm invested in so much. Does that make sense? I mean, I hope that makes sense.
It does. I bet I suspect that at some point during the week when I'm there, I'm going to feel the energy in the room. And I don't mean to be so philosophical or get weird about this, but it just seems like the hobby is in a resurgence in the last year or two. And I know, I know that Dallas has its quarterly show, and I know there are more and more shows around the country, even in Alabama where I am. You could go to a show within the state of Alabama or contiguous states every weekend now. And I think that's awesome. So I suspect that during the week at the National, there's going to be just this energy with big deals or small deals or people. I can't describe it. I know I'll feel it when I get there, but that's going to, and we've got just a few more minutes, guys, with Erik Myers. Erik, talk about the socialization part of the National for you. Are there people that you always like to see or break bread with, or just have a maybe talk on other podcasts, whatever it is you do during the week? Do you do a lot of socialization during the week?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying. Minutes are so valuable. So as soon as the National's over, you need to have your evening. You don't need to have an evening thinking to yourself, what am I going to do? That needs to be planned. What are you going to a trade night? What trade night? Because there's going to be multiple trade nights. Are you going to go eat dinner with a certain group of people? If so, know that you're sacrificing potential opportunities over here for this. Yeah. So those minutes are valuable. Those minutes are extremely valuable. In the past, I kind of just did what I wanted because it was never going to be at this level of this magnitude, right? So now the evenings are it's again, paramount to where you put those evenings, because you only have 4 of them, right? So that's going to be definitely in demand. And I think if people want to spend time with you, try to say yes as much as possible. Life is so short, man. Enjoy the moments with the people that want to enjoy the moments with you. Make that important connection.
That's
It's important.
when I got back into the hobby about almost 3 years ago. One of the collateral benefits that I never thought would be there is all of these virtual, up to now, relationships that I've developed, whether it's on Clubhouse or doing discussions like ours or in our Facebook groups. These people are now my friends, and I hope to get to meet a lot of them, including you, in person during the week. Now, are you going to be set up and have a table, or will you just be an attendee and walking around during the week?
PWCC, I think we're bringing 15 employees, so we'll have a couple of tables set up. So we'll be there, and I'll be there working on behalf of PWCC. That's who's paying for me to go there, right? After hours, I'll be on my own. I will be the Erik Myers, the Haole Hustle on Instagram, right? That people know. But during the show, I'll be working. I'll be there for work, but also mingling. That's my first and foremost role, but yeah.
Very good. Just a couple of more questions and we'll get you out of here, Erik. And I really appreciate your time tonight. Before I go to that, do you happen to know what tables or what section where PWCC is set up? I haven't looked on the master sheet yet. And if you don't know, that's okay. We can look it up.
Yeah. I'm looking at this spread right now. No, I don't have it right in front of me. Sorry.
Okay. I put you on the spot there. Let's flip this, and not as an attendee, but as a vendor or as a person who just has a table. What is a way, in your opinion, for someone who has a table for the very first time? How do they get the most out of their experience there? Because most people who are just set up and aren't big companies or aren't big dealers, they're going to bring whatever it is they have to sell or trade. They may or may not have unique items, but then again, everybody else may have the same thing they have. How does a person who has never been get the most out of their experience if you have a table that you're trying to sell or trade?
And just talk to people, be honest. Don't try to sell something to somebody. Just be a person, right? Just enjoy if you're walking around, ask questions, get to know the people, get to know the vendors. What is their perspectives on how they sell and how they transact? Character exchange is just as important as information exchange, right? You do both simultaneously. And if you're a dealer and you set up for the first time, just get to know the people. Let them take pictures. Let them know that you're open to price negotiation. Ask them what their interest is. Who's your favorite player? People on a subconscious level, we feel comfortable when somebody shows interest in me and my personal life. Like, are you here with your wife and your kids? Again, who's your favorite player? Stuff to that effect. So it's not just, hey, let me know if you want to see anything. Because that's kind of what people say when they walk the table. Well, just let me know if you want to see anything. Kind of start showing interest, talk to them. Get to know them. What are they looking for? What brought you here? How long have you been in the hobby? Who do you follow on Instagram? What's your Instagram handle? Start getting into those are things, they're somewhat personal, but they're not private personal, the things you ask them. And then you kind of break down that barrier of that awkward first moment, right?
I've heard you talk about this before. Friendships and relationships that you make in this hobby is as important as any card or thing that you collect. It really just, to me, I really share this philosophy. It brings the enjoyment of being part of such a great hobby that so many of us share. Now, Erik, tell me what would we expect if we show up at the PWCC booths at the National? What are we going to see? What are we going to do?
We'll probably have our cards on display that are going to be there for the August premier auction that we have coming up. So we've got a premier auction coming up in August. So you'll definitely see that. You'll get to learn about how we operate and function, about how our vault functions, about the different, we offer auction advances or loan programs, or on the other end of the loan program, people can give money to PWCC that we then loan out, and they're making 8 or 9% annual return on investment on their money. So there's a lot of different things that people aren't aware that PWCC offers, and the magnitude of private deals come up that we do behind the scenes, our total sales volume. So there's a lot of things to learn from PWCC, how long we've been there, get to put a name with the face as well, and the people that you might hear.
Well, that's you and so many others. That's what I'm truly looking forward to. Shaking a hand, taking a selfie, just saying hello, maybe doing a deal. That's the kind of stuff I'm really looking forward to. Eric, I so appreciate your time and sharing your experiences about attending the Nationals. So thank you very much.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. It's a fun ride, man.
It is a fun ride. But before we get out of here, how can folks connect with you on social media? What's the best way?
The best way to connect with me, just in general, period, is Instagram. It's Haole, Haole _ hustle. So it's Haole _ hustle. Name Haole is derivative from a slang term from Hawaii, because I lived in Hawaii for 4.5 years. So Haole _ hustle. It's the easiest way. I respond to all messages as soon as possible. Follow me. I'll do my best to follow you back. Like my collection, and I hope to like yours as well.
Guys, you need to go to his Instagram page. It's an awesome Kobe and other collection, but I'll put a link to your Instagram in the show notes. Erik, thank you again. Safe travels, and I hope to be able to say hello in person sometime during this next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and we'll be back next Sunday. I've got another conversation lined up. Hope you guys have a great week. I'm sure I'm going to be posting video and photos from the National all week. You guys have a great rest of your night. Good week. Take care.